Hello, and thank you for joining us for a very special event here at the city, our very first virtual National Night Out. This is a very special occasion that all of our first responders here at the city love to get out and meet with our community. And obviously this year we had to do things a little differently than going out neighborhood by neighborhood and meeting with everybody to keep everybody safe in the current environment. And so we still wanted to bring this event to you, so we all got together and figured out the best way that we could do this. And what you see here is this virtual environment where we're going to let you talk to the chiefs of the fire, police department, and public works. We're going to do a parade of some vehicles that we have to show off some of the gear that you see rolling around Pearland very frequently. And then we're going to answer some questions that we got from the community that you typically have that you would get answered on a regular National Night Out. The only real things we're missing are the person-to-person contact and the hot dogs and hamburgers that we see in the different communities that we go into. So we hope you enjoyed this event. We hope you come along with us and give us some grace as we go through this, as it's sort of new and uncharted territory for all of us. But we're looking forward to tonight, and we hope you are as well. So without further ado, we're going to bring up our chiefs, our police chief, our fire chief, and an assistant director from Public Works to introduce everybody and get the night kicked off. So here with us we have Chief Johnny Spires of the Police Department, Assistant Chief Mark Campese from the Fire Department, and Assistant Director of Public Works, Eric
Hammond.
Eric Hammond, I'm so sorry. So these are the guys that run some of the departments and handle a lot of the first responder teams. And some of the ones that you'll see on a normal National Night Out in your communities. And so we wanted to bring them up and ask you guys to talk a little bit about National Night Out. So Chief Spires, first with you, National Night Out started with the police department, correct?
Yeah, this initiative started around 1984. Pearland started getting involved, I want to say in the early 90s, that's when I started getting involved. So we've been doing this a long time. It's a great, it used to be in August. Mm-hmm. In August it was really,
ooh, yeah, that's
way too hot. So Texas moved it to October.
Smart.
So it's a little bit nicer outside. It's a great time to go out and meet your citizens. It's a great time for the citizens in the neighborhoods to meet each other.
Sure. And
get to know each other. So you bring us into the mix and we all just kind of get around and talk. We give them some crime prevention tips, talk about crime prevention statistics in Pearland, answer any questions they have. And most important thing you talked about a minute ago is food. We usually have food. We don't have food tonight, so I'm a little disappointed.
We're real sorry about that.
So,
yeah, next year we'll make sure it's catered a little better.
right. But it's a great time for us to get to know the community and then get to know us a little bit more on a personal level.
Absolutely. So on a normal National Night Out, where would you typically be going? Where's the spot that you visit most frequently?
So people, they register with our department, so they have block parties. Mm-hmm. And we map them out all over the city and we assign officers to every one of those. And I try to make as many as I can. The night goes by really fast. Sure. So, typically I might get 3 or 4 in a night, to be honest with you, because we start talking and eating. And so we, I don't get to see as many as myself, but we make sure an officer goes to everyone. Yeah. And, and talks to the citizens there. So. And
you'll get to meet some of those officers tonight. We'll have people up here talking about the different vehicles, and we'll sit down and talk with an officer as well. Definitely get to hopefully get the feel of a traditional National Night Out, just in a different format.
Exactly.
So, Chief Campese, tell us a little bit about your average National Night Out. What would you typically be doing tonight?
Pretty much same as Chief Spires said. We would come out. Usually PD would pass that list to us and say, here are some spots, the community neighborhood parties and things like that. That we would kind of split up our 5 stations in between our fire apparatus and our medic units and our chief officers and do the same thing. We would split out and go out and try to hit as many of those as we could. We team up with PD if there was some, there's just so many parties and so many opportunities we want to try to make it to that not everybody can be there, So just like he said, we'd split up and we go around, and usually by the second or third stop, the guys have eaten as much as they can possibly eat. So folks are very generous, always giving us boxes to go and things like that. But it's great because, we take fire trucks out. We got, the plastic helmets for the kiddies. Everybody wants to see the fire trucks and, climb around, look at the equipment and stuff. And so it's just a great opportunity for us to, get out and engage with the community and be seen.
And Eric, what about you guys? What do y'all typically do on National Night Out?
Same thing. I'll echo some of what the chiefs have already said. And we would load up our equipment, take a few pieces of tractors, trailers, dump trucks, drive around through the communities, let the families and the residents see all the different pieces of machinery that are working for them every day. So it's just a way to introduce ourselves, put a few faces with some names, well, half faces anyways.
Sure, yeah.
But it's just a great opportunity to see the community and get to know what our community needs, and then at the same time let them see what we have serving at their pleasure 7 days a week.
Sure. So anything that you want the residents to know about National Night Out, like you said, crime tips or crime statistics, we're going to talk about that in detail later on, but anything that you typically go to?
You know, it's about building relationships. When you know somebody, you've met somebody, and you can make that contact with them, they feel more comfortable calling you if they need something.
Sure.
Or on the other side, we feel more comfortable calling them sometimes if we need something. You know, we talk about their security cameras and things like that, how they can be more involved with us with those types of things. And you know, crime prevention is all about communication and relationships, so that's what we try to do.
Understandable. Can it be easy?
You know, most people don't get to engage with us unless it's pre-planned, or if it's they're having a really bad day. You know, so we take advantage of that opportunity to get out and visit with them. And you know, it's October's Fire Prevention Month too, and so we can always throw the plugs in there for
It's Fire Prevention
Fire
Month?
Prevention Month. Yes. So
So what do you talk about with that?
you know, we just talk to the folks, make sure that, you know, smoke detectors are good and working in their homes and things like that. Just the constant reminders to make sure they have a plan in their homes and things like that. You know, like I said, we don't get to engage with people in the streets, and, you know, as multiple families come together, and so it's just a nice opportunity to kind of show them who we are and what we do, and, you know, teach them a little bit about, you know, what their fire department consists of and what it looks like behind the scenes.
And that's great. We're going to get to hear more about that later too, so we're looking forward to that. Eric, from the Public Works Department, what are y'all typically answering? What kind of questions do y'all typically get?
Well, I guess first, really, I'd like to highlight for us, it's a function of creating advocates, right? For us, it's a lot easier to provide our services by having more and more eyes and ears in the field, whether it be potholes or mowing needs or street signs or water leaks, things of that nature. This is our opportunity to get out into the community, understand those different things that are out in our community, encourage folks to identify those with us and report them to us swiftly, so that way we can address those things. So that's really where we focus.
And have you noticed specifically with Public Works, there's a lot of, oh, I didn't realize that Public Works did X, Y, Z, or...
You know, certainly, Josh. It's really educating the community. We've got a lot of resources out there, whether our City of Pearland webpage, Connect to Pearland applications, things of that nature. And so it's a good opportunity for us to market those, in addition to coach the community and tell them exactly what services we provide. Because from a Public Works perspective, we provide a tremendous amount of services, from asphalt and streets to water and sewer services. So
making sure that the water's there when the fire department gets there, making sure the streets are clean so the police can get there, different things like that.
Yes, sir. Tons of connectivity.
Yep. Understandable. And obviously we have everybody here together in one place because as a city, we obviously work together, and it requires that cooperation to provide the services to the city and to keep our residents safe. We're all working for the City of Pearland day in and day out, and always, you know, row the boat towards the same common goal. And so I really appreciate you all being here and doing the job that you do.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
One other, this isn't really related to National Night Out, but I feel like your uniform is different than usual.
A little different, different. Along with the Fire Safety Month, it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Oh, okay.
So police department's involved in that, bringing awareness to breast cancer, and it's a, you know, it's a not just countrywide, but it's a worldwide initiative. So we want to support that.
Well, I definitely vote for this uniform. It's eye-catching for sure.
Very nice, thank you.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming out. We're going to get to the parade of vehicles now because that's the part that everybody's been waiting for. So thank you all for coming by, and have a good night.
Thanks, Josh.
See you later.
Appreciate it.
So next we have a fun parade of a wide variety of vehicles that are coming up. We're going to start with our fire vehicles. We have something from Public Works that's pretty special. And then we're going to finish that section off with the police department vehicles before we get into a Q&A session. So it'll get a little loud. We'll shut the vehicle down, and then we'll try to limit the firefighters to a couple of minutes of talking about the vehicles. But first we have pulling up is, well, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let a firefighter talk about it. If I can get a firefighter up here. Come on up.
How are you?
How's it going? Good to,
Right.
yep. First name?
Cade.
Cade?
Cade, yes sir.
Cade McDonald. So,
McDonald,
Cade
yes, sir.
McDonald, you're a firefighter for the City of Pearland?
Yes sir, I'm a lieutenant.
Are you driver operator, or are you?
I'm a lieutenant, yes
okay,
sir. So
okay.
I'm actually in charge of a Station 3 on the B shift.
Okay.
And which happens to be this fire truck that's sitting here behind us.
And Station 3 is Yost Road and 518?
Yes sir, that's
Right.
correct.
That's a pretty little fire station.
It is. It's one of the newer ones in the city too.
Okay.
So.
So what you have here is a pumper truck?
It is a pumper. It's
Okay.
titled Engine 3, but a lot of times we refer to them as pumpers.
Okay.
And so its main job is to carry all the hose and the water to the scene, and that's what actually is going to put the fire out when we get there.
I see. So what's so special about this truck?
Well, it's big, as you can see. It
Sure, yeah.
sits real tall.
Yeah.
Like I said, its main job is just to carry the water and the hose, so it has a lot of hose. It's got 1,200 foot on the back and multiple different hoses up here, so we have hundreds and hundreds of feet of hose.
So, and why is that? In case the fire hydrant's too far away, or what's
Exactly, in case the fire hydrant's a long ways, or maybe the house sits off the road,
Okay.
or we have to go around a big warehouse or something like that. We got to be ready for everything.
But this truck carries its own water too, right?
It does. It carries 750 gallons, which to the normal person probably seems like a lot of water.
Yeah, that feels like a lot.
But we can empty that in about 30 seconds. Yes, 30 seconds.
But
so.
how long? So okay, so if you show up to a fire and that's all you have, or if it takes a minute to get to a fire hydrant, do you turn on your own water and
Yeah. So normally what we do is we start with our own water because it's kind of a process to get hooked up to the hydrant, and we want to go to work as quick as possible
Sure.
when we get there.
Yeah.
So time is kind of money, right?
Yeah.
So we start with our own water, and usually that gets us a pretty good ways into the fire before we have to use the hydrant.
And then how do you know when you're running out of water on the truck?
Actually, the light that's blinking behind you, well, it's not blinking right now, but those are level indicators.
Okay.
So the driver can watch those and he'll know how much water he has.
So how many guys are riding in the fire truck when you're going to a fire?
So there's always 4 guys on a fire truck in the city of Pearland, and that's a really great thing that the city's done for us. A lot of cities aren't that lucky. They only ride with 3. So we're very fortunate here.
Sure.
But there's always 4 guys on the fire truck.
And one guy runs the truck, right?
Yes, sir. The driver operator stays with the truck. He doesn't even get dressed in gear and go in the fire anymore. When he gets to the scene, this is his baby. And he's tied to it.
And then the rest of the firefighters are there.
And there's myself and 2 other firefighters.
Okay. Awesome.
Exactly.
And then, so this is the only truck that you ride on, right?
This is the only truck at Station 3.
Okay.
Besides the ambulance. This is the only fire truck we have.
Yeah, I got you.
We have a reserve truck, but it's just there in case this one breaks down.
And what do you do to take care of it? Like, what's the normal operations for that?
We have days of the week lined out for maintenance, preventative maintenance, cleaning, where we do like a really detailed day with the truck, go through everything. It takes us hours.
Yeah,
usually.
really?
In between calls and all that. So
Well,
we
it's
really
very
try to
clean.
take care of them. They're not cheap. So
That brings up a good point. So average fire truck is $750,000 to $900,000.
You're probably in that ballpark.
What makes them so expensive?
So all of these trucks are actually custom built for our specifications and how the department feels we need a fire truck built for a certain area of the city.
Interesting.
So these start from nothing to become a fire truck just for us. So it's a long process and it's expensive.
And they're the same from fire station to fire station, or
They're very, very similar. They're not all exactly the same, but they are.
But you could hop from one truck to another.
Exactly. And they're all going to do the same job and pretty much have the same tools and hose.
All right.
So.
Awesome. Well, anything else you want us to know about this truck in particular? Or?
No, I don't think so. I think that about covers it.
All right. Well, let's get the ambulance up next, and we'll check that out
All right,
too.
awesome.
So you can stick around with us for one more,
Yeah,
and then you're going to
awesome.
come back with questions, right?
Absolutely. I'm
Very
here for a
cool.
while.
Glad to hear it. So
Yes,
next
sir.
we have an ambulance coming up. You might have seen these rolling around town. They typically go with a fire truck, right? Or they can.
Kind of vice versa. The fire truck usually goes with the ambulance.
So why is that?
So all of our staff are trained on the medical side. It's a state mandate to be a career firefighter. So anything like a critical call, we go with the ambulance for the extra hands.
Oh, I see.
And knowledge.
Got it. That makes sense. So you're all EMT or
We're all
paramedics?
EMT basics, but a lot of us are paramedics also.
Ah, I see.
Yes, sir.
So what about the ambulance? I mean, are these, how are they outfitted? Are they just,
Yeah, so this is Medic 3, and like you said earlier, it's tied to Station 3 and Engine 3.
Okay.
At Station 3, at Yost and Broadway.
Oh, so it does say Medic 3 on the
see
side.
the M3 up top.
Okay.
So
Can we look in the back?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's where the patient and the paramedic will ride.
Oh yeah.
And it's got tons of equipment in it.
Yeah, so all of that is to basically keep people alive in transit.
Right,
correct?
all of those compartments are separated for their purpose. We have the EKG monitor over there, and this is our ready bag for when we get off the ambulance. It kind of has a few of all of those supplies in there.
And are these sort of purpose-built as well, so that they're outfitted for our paramedics and things like that?
Yeah, so actually every ambulance in the city of Pearland is going to look exactly the same on the inside.
Because it's important to know what you need to get when you need to get it.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of times when people are back here, it's not always a good thing, so we have to know where everything is and be ready for it.
Well, that makes me feel a lot safer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool.
And that's about it for an ambulance.
And so ambulances, we talk about the fire trucks being relatively expensive. I would assume these are slightly more affordable, but still.
They are a lot more affordable. I don't know an exact number, but they're way less expensive than a fire truck.
Yeah, a little bit smaller.
A little bit smaller.
Basic platform.
And but they get used more, so they actually get replaced a little more often than a fire truck will.
Oh, so they go on more calls than the fire trucks
Yes, sir,
do.
generally.
Okay.
Generally.
Interesting. All right.
Yep.
Well, that's the ambulance, everybody.
That's
Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
All right.
Next, we got our high water vehicles coming
All
out.
right.
So
Thanks for
we'll see
having
you
me.
around. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. So next is a vehicle out of our Public Works Department. These are recently acquired vehicles, and Jacoby Perkins, head of our fleet division, is going to be talking about them. This one's extra loud. Jacoby, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. So we have our LMTV, right?
Correct.
What does that stand for?
Light Mechanical Technical Vehicle.
Okay, all right. And we call these our high water vehicles.
Correct.
Relatively recent acquisition for the city, correct?
Correct. So
tell me about this. What's the history behind why we have these and what they're doing for us now?
So, you know, Pearland was hit pretty hard by Hurricane Harvey, and so we acquired these from the LESO program. Basically, the LESO program is the Law Enforcement Support Office that gives support vehicles like this to agencies across the United States to help out with certain operations.
For free, right?
For
So it
free,
didn't cost
yes,
the city
yes,
anything?
for free.
Yeah.
No cost to us, which is great benefit to the city. So we acquired 6 of them, and they're similar outfitted like this. Lights, reflective stripes on the back, of course, the City of Pearland logo, and
Yeah.
you know,
very nice.
it does pretty well, you know, in high water situations.
And that's specifically what they're designed for, correct? For our purposes?
Correct. So any emergency service such as high water, flooding, transport. As you can see on the bed, we have a pretty big bed that can transport individuals to a safe and higher ground.
So how many people can you transport at a time?
We can transport 16 comfortably. We can even go up to 20 if necessary.
Oh, wow.
You can fit 8 on each side. And so again, you know, we want to transport comfortably, but if we need to, we can go up to 20.
And then how deep in water can this thing go?
So 30 inches is the max we want to go on these vehicles. That's about the bottom of this bumper right here.
So it's like right
Right
here?
there is about 30 inches. If we need
That's
to
pretty
go,
high.
yeah, it's pretty high. If we need to go, we can go up to 36 inches. As you can see right here, that's where the muffler kind of is, and of course we don't want to get that muffler in any water.
Yeah. And we've used these for mutual aid in the past, correct?
Correct. So we do have mutual aid capabilities to where we can send some of these out to other cities or other agencies that might need our mutual aid.
Okay.
We did do a mutual aid previously to Winnie. Winnie got hit pretty hard by some of the tropical storms, so we took these out there and helped out Winnie with their operations.
That's fantastic. Well, I know people see these rolling around town, and we've gotten a lot of questions about what they are, or what they're used for, or how much they cost, things like that. And I think we kind of covered it here, so it's cool to see and good to see him out. Glad to have him in the community. For
yeah,
sure.
most definitely.
We appreciate it. So next up, we're going to have our Animal Control Division. Thank you, Jacoby. This is a very special vehicle coming up here, and we have with us John Fisher, who's the manager for Animal Control, and he's bringing up This is a mobile adoption center. So it's a big, long combination that we're going to talk about here. John, good to see you.
Josh, how are you?
Thanks for joining us. John Fisher, the manager of Animal Services for the City of Pearland. So what do we have going on here?
Okay, so this is a dual function trailer. It's most often functions as a mobile adoption center, but it also doubles as an emergency response vehicle. So we can take this out. It's completely self-contained. We can take this out to mobile adoption events, but if a disaster does happen, we can quickly roll out and respond and help any animals that are in need.
Let's take a look inside.
Sure,
So,
come on in.
Show us what you got going on in here.
Okay. So this front section is for our cats, or mobile adoption for cats. So we can hold somewhere between 16 and 18 cats in here.
And all self-contained, air conditioning?
Completely self-contained, air conditioning, potable running water, generator. We can hard hook it if we need to for plumbing and electricity. This area also doubles as a small emergency surgery suite, so we can do small medical procedures here.
That's
Comes
amazing.
Completely stocked with all the surgical equipment, including an anesthesia machine.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And then we
got a
move
whole other section back here.
Right, we move into this section, and this is typically where our dogs are kept for adoption. Again, we can, depending on the size of the dog, we can do 12 to 16 dogs. Running sink. Behind Josh, we have a shower and a lavatory.
Oh yeah, look at that.
All completely self-contained. Again, air conditioned in the summer, heated in the brief winters that we have.
That's fantastic. And you roll this out to like HEB and places like that and do mobile adoption?
Right, Pearland, the Petco on Pearland Parkway, we do once a month there. We're looking at taking it anywhere that we can.
That's amazing. This is a great facility.
It really is. It's top of the line. It's brand new. Everything's easy to clean and sterilize.
That's awesome. Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of stainless steel. I would presume that is to make it easy to sterilize and.
Right. It's all most of it's surgical steel, so it's easy to clean, easy to keep sterilized for any animals that we might have on board.
That's awesome. Anything else you want?
Yeah, I would just like to mention that this was donated to the City of Pearland. Local 501c3 nonprofit, Pearland Pets, covered the cost of this completely.
That's amazing.
No out of pocket.
Pearland residents anything?
Not a thing.
And it's probably, I mean, it's custom built for
absolutely
for
custom built for our specific needs.
And wraps for our needs.
The wraps were included.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, thank you for coming out and showing us
Absolutely.
this. This is an amazing vehicle. We're glad you have it out here.
Very proud of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, Josh.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll get into police vehicles next. So we've got a couple of different vehicles that we're going to be talking through. And we're going to have Captain Kevin Nichols come up and do a little bit of a conversation about some of the things that you probably see rolling around town and answer some of those things. So first up, we have another very loud vehicle coming up. It's a vehicle that has a very unique shape to it that you've probably seen rolling around. Captain Nichols, good to see you. Good to see you. We can fist bump.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, tell us what we got going on here. I think this is the one we get the most questions about, the most pictures with, things like that. What is happening here?
So this is called an Mrap, which is an acronym for Mine-Resistant Ambush Prevention Vehicle. It's a military vehicle that was retired from service by the Department of Defense, and we obtained it from a program called the LISO program, Law Enforcement Support Office.
So the same program that we got the high water trucks from?
Absolutely, yes. Gotcha. And basically, they take retired military vehicles, out of service military vehicles, and they give them to state and local law enforcement at no charge.
Ah.
So we obtained the vehicle. It's probably a $700,000 vehicle.
Just this one?
Just this one,
wow.
for absolutely no charge to the city. We used it extensively during the Hurricane Harvey for the high water event, much like the LMTV that you had out here earlier.
Yeah, so how high water can these get into?
It's got a 36-inch fording depth.
Okay, so just like the
LMTV,
yeah.
right. And
differences enclosed, probably air conditioned and all that stuff?
It is air conditioned. There's a 5-ton air conditioner on the back and a 2-ton air conditioner on the front, so it's very nice and cool inside when air conditioner's running.
Yep.
In addition to the high water capabilities it gives us, it allows our SWAT team in critical situations to protect officers, protect victims, and put them closer to an objective and keep them out of harm's way.
Yeah, being a mine-resistant vehicle, I'm sure it has heavy armor plating all the way around.
Heavy armor plating, heavy glass, thick glass plates to I don't say bulletproof, but bullet resistant.
Sure. And I don't see any offensive features on this.
And that is a question we get quite often. This vehicle has absolutely no offensive capability. It's
Sure.
completely a defensive vehicle. The armor is for the protection of the officer, protection of the citizens. And again, we use it for the high water capabilities as well.
Well, and it looks like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but really the only modifications we made to it are a couple stickers and a little bit of badging so that it's identifiable.
Pretty
correct?
much, yes, sir.
Wow, so it came just like that and street legal now and good to go, huh?
We threw some stickers on it and made it ours.
All right, awesome. That's very cool. Anything else we should know about the MRAP?
No, like I said, absolutely no offensive capability, zero cost to the citizens, but it's a really useful piece of equipment, and we made good use of it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, next I think we have up a patrol vehicle, correct?
Yeah, I think it's just one of our standard patrol vehicles. It's one of our Tahoes. We have several different types of marked patrol vehicles. We use Crown Vic still, some of the older model Crown Vics that we're still working through. That's kind of the ubiquitous vehicle you saw way back when was the Ford Crown Vic.
Traditional cop car.
Traditional cop car. Ford stopped making the Crown Vic. So we had to find an alternative to use. One of the alternatives we went with was the Chevrolet Tahoe. We also use, you'll also see in our fleet, we have some Ford Explorers.
Okay.
The patrol vehicle, again, all of our vehicles are white with a blue stripe. For our high marked vehicles, you will see some what we call low marked vehicles that we use for our proactive units and some of our canine units.
Yep.
There may be a couple of different colors, but this is our standard
So
standard
the low
vehicle.
mark it has the reflective.
Does have the reflective tapes. They're just not contrasted like blue on white. It'll be white on white or
and
blue
what's
on
the
blue.
purpose of that?
So the idea behind that is that there are people who will break the law. There are people who will speed and drive aggressively and do things when cops aren't around that they won't do when cops are around. So the idea there is maybe to have people out there to catch those people who are aggressively driving, who are speeding and putting other people in danger.
I got you. Okay. And I noticed, I mean, it's very consistent. We have the mobile command center right behind that. The branding is very consistent across the two. I would imagine there's a reason for that. I mean,
yeah, we wanted it to be identifiable, both of them to be identifiable as our police vehicles. If you see them on the street, you'll see, again, big Pearland in large letters with our emblem on it. We wanted to make sure that we knew it was ours and that everybody else knew it was ours too.
Yeah. So migration from Crown Vics to SUVs, do they still make sedans and police cars, or what's the purpose of
So they do make them. The issue with them is that they tend to be rather small. I mean, you have some of the Dodge Chargers they'll use, the Ford Tauruses they've used. They tend to be rather small. And in order to give our officers a larger passenger compartment and any passengers we may have, a larger passenger compartment and the ability to carry more equipment, because we get into a situation where as time goes on we get more and more equipment that we're required to carry with us. It gives us a larger cargo capability.
Okay, all right. Well, I know I've seen these all around, and you know they're pretty iconic nowadays. Is there anything else you want people to know about them, or?
No, just like I said, these one of the three types that you'll see probably on our patrol season.
All right, cool. Well, thank you.
Excellent.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we're looking at our
we'll
our
set the
mobile
command post
center.
up.
So this is the one of the newer additions to our fleet, correct?
Yes, sir. It is a newer addition to the fleet. For several years, we've had a situation where we did not have a self-made, purpose-built command post.
Okay. And what's the reason for a purpose-built command post?
So the idea behind the purpose-built command post is we need a location or a place where at major crime scenes, major incidents, whether they be crime scenes, whether they be fire scenes, whether they be something Public Works is working on, where you have your incident commanders for that scene that need to get together, make plans, come to decisions, set up objectives, things like this. This gives us the capability of getting all those people into a nice, comfortable, secure room without people looking over their shoulder, without having to do things on the hood of a car. Give them an area where they can access information, have communications, and be able to do all of that in a vehicle that is purpose-built for that.
And you say purpose-built, it looks like an RV to me.
It does look like an RV on the outside, and we're going to go inside in just a little bit. I'll show you around. Oh, come on. We'll go inside. Built by Farber Specialty Vehicles.
Okay. You say it's purpose-built. Now, purpose-built for us? Or
Yes, we spec'd it out to get it how we wanted it. Again, this is the inside. This is our workstation area. We have 4 individual workstations here. where we can put, people can access the internet. We have Wi-Fi internet access. We have radio stations here and here. We'll show you the back in just a minute. We have the 4 displays here. All of these displays, we have it set up to where any workstation, any one workstation can send what they're working on to any or all of the other workstations.
Really?
It's a really technologically set up very well.
And it's adaptable. I mean, you can move things around.
And we also have, if you saw outside, there's a 47-foot mast on the back.
Sure.
We have a 36x optical zoom camera.
Wow.
That we can see quite a distance.
Yep.
And you can cast that image on any of the screens in here.
And then, yeah, conference room back here.
In the back we have a conference room.
So you can separate these off.
Right. If you you had a lot of noise, a lot of commotion going on out front, we can come back here. Your incident commander or any of his
groups. Or the policy group. So in an incident, you have incident command, and then you might have a policy group.
Right.
They can have separation of space and things like that.
Yeah, they can be in here, close the door, and have a little privacy to do what they need to do as far as making decisions, coming up with plans of action.
Yeah.
4 air conditioning units to make sure we keep cool in those hot Texas summers that we have, and we're really proud of it. Like I said, it was a long time coming, and we were able to get the vehicle funded with very little very little impact onto our general fund.
I was going to say, this thing has to have cost an absolute fortune. I mean, I know MRAPs are expensive.
Right, MRAPs are expensive. The final bill on this one, I believe, was around $500,000. We were able to fund it mostly through our state and federal narcotic seizure funds. So funds that we get from arresting bad guys, drug dealers.
Yeah, sure.
We took that money and funded a large part of it through the communications office. They have
the PEG fund.
The PEG fund, Public Education
Public
and
Information,
Government.
Education and Government Fund, yeah.
We were able to pull money from them to fund part of it. And then we, through our Citizens Police Academy, which is a group of volunteers that works with the police department, they put $50,000 toward the purchase of the MRAP, to the command post as well. And we were able to go out with less than 5% of the total cost coming out of the general fund.
Speaking of the Citizens Police Academy, if you haven't been to or checked out the Citizens Police Academy, I highly recommend it. It's a semester-long course that anybody can take, sign up for. There is a waiting list for it because it's very popular, but you get to learn about this vehicle, you get to learn about the MRAP, you get to learn about procedures that they have, you get to learn about the tactics that they use, the officers who work there.
Yes, sir.
What else? It's
so the idea is opening lines of communication between the police and the public, much like National Night Out is, right? The idea is that we want to open up lines of communication all year long between the police department and the public that we serve. And what it does is it gives the public gets to come in, they get to meet the officers, they get to understand why we do some of the things we do, and we get to hear their input on what we do. So we can kind of a two-way flow of communication there.
Absolutely. That's the key, right? So
yes,
as Chief Spire says, building those relationships, that communication piece is fundamental to the job that you do. That's great. Well, this is a beautiful piece of machinery. I'm sure people can come and tour this in a regular National Night Out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully next year we'll get to go to that and get a sense of normalcy again.
Okay.
We're going to go out this way?
Sure, let's go out this way.
Right.
We're going to have to.
2 doors in this thing.
Oh, yeah. And again, that was set up purpose-built so that, if you had somebody wanting to come in and out of the conference room, we could come in and out of the conference room and not affect command group and vice versa.
That's fantastic.
All right.
Well, we appreciate you coming out and showing us all the stuff.
Thanks for having us, man.
If there's anything else you want people to know, now's the chance to do it.
Just really like to bring attention to the Citizens Police Academy group like you did. They're a great group of people. They're always helping us out, and we're always looking for volunteers to come out and join us.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks,
Josh.
Have a good night. Yep. So that is our tour of vehicles. So the next thing that we have coming up is a sit-down conversation, which is good because my back's starting to hurt, with a few of our additional first responders that we have. We're going to have a police officer, a firefighter, and a representative from Public Works. It almost sounds like I'm going to tell a joke there. But they're going to come up and we're going to answer some questions that we got from the community that we would like to have answered. Some things that you typically get answered on a normal National Night Out, and things that come up pretty frequently too. So it should be a pretty interesting conversation. We're definitely looking forward to it. If you're just joining us, we've been doing National Night Out for years here in Pearland, since the early 90s. But with this being a pandemic year, we had to do things a little bit differently this year, and so we chose a virtual format to hopefully keep this going and keep people engaged and reach our residents in a slightly different way. So we just did a tour of the vehicles, and now we're going to do a sit-down conversation with a few first responders and get to know them a little bit better. As Captain Nichols said, if you want to get involved more in things like, because you like National Night Out, the Citizens Police Academy is a fantastic way to do that, to program through the police department. You can sign up each semester, and you can find information about that on the city's website. Oh, and look, we got our people coming now. Good evening, guys. How's it going?
Oh, great. How are you?
So we have Firefighter McDonald again, joining us again.
Yes, sir, I'm back.
We have Officer Ryder Cohen joining us here, and then Dante Prescott from our Public Works Department. So he's a superintendent over right-of-way. I'm going to get it right eventually. Is it water production or right-of-way?
Right-of-way.
Right-of-way. Okay, so we'll get into more of that in just a second. So thank you all for coming up here. I'm surprised that y'all were willing to do this, given it was a live format, and you don't know what I'm going to do. So this is going to be exciting. So list of questions here. We're not going to do all of them. We'll see how this conversation goes, but so we'll just jump right into it. So starting out, we'll go just in order, a few questions for everybody. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Talk a little bit about the department, and kind of like we did with the Chiefs. Typical what you'd be doing on National Night Out, things you'd be telling people, stuff like that.
Okay. I'm Ken McDonald. I'm a lieutenant with the Pearland Fire Department. I've been with the city for a little over 7 years now. And so basically, this is a lot different than our normal format, like you said. Usually we're splitting up every crew in the city, getting out and talking to the public, interacting with them, eating, snacking, and going to different neighborhoods.
You're making me hungry, stop.
So we're missing out on a lot because that's a good opportunity for us to just interact with the citizens that, we don't see a whole lot unless they're having their worst day. So
yeah.
We look forward to that. So unfortunately, this year's a little different.
Well, unfortunately, you can't see them, but, thankfully they can see y'all. So
Right.
I appreciate y'all being here and representing.
Absolutely.
Ryden?
I'm Ryden Cohen. Been with the department for 13 years. I'm in the Community Outreach Division currently, which encompasses community outreach, recruiting, as well as public information officer duties. I'd like to say a happy birthday shout out to my son Logan, who turned 7 today.
What?
So happy birthday.
And you're here, man. Good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I
I got a chance to see him before this started, so I gave him a hug, and at least
That's
I got to see him.
fantastic. Well, happy birthday, bud.
Yep. Same as he said, as far as National Night Out goes, it's one of my favorite times of the year. Get a chance to get out into the community, actually speak to the residents in a kind of just in a fun way. The residents, like you said, generally have little block parties, food, drink. There's a bunch of kids out there. When I say drink, sodas, waters, things of that nature.
Sure.
Kids out there, so we get to play with the kids, get to answer some questions. Again, it's a good opportunity to be able to see people and interact with people. When they're not necessarily needing us, they want us there.
Sure,
So.
yeah, that's fantastic. Dante, what about y'all?
Dante Prescott, City of Pearland, Public Works, Rights of Way Superintendent. Been with the city for January, makes 16 years for me.
Wow.
I started off as a field service technician right here in City Hall, reading meters, and had the great achievement of working my way up to Right of Way Superintendent for Public Works. So a lot of interaction that I've had with the public since I've been here. Great staff, great group of residents that I interact with on a daily basis.
I noticed a pattern here. You said 7 years? You've been with the city 7
A
years?
little over 7, yes, sir.
So 7, 13, 16.
Yes, sir.
I mean, clearly y'all got commitment issues, What is it about Pearland that keeps you coming to work every day? What's your motivation?
For me, I would say it's kind of like a combination of everything. The department I work for specifically, but the city as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they take tremendous care of us, so I'm proud to be here, really am.
Pretty much the same. I think that a big thing for people in our positions is also our coworkers. Having fun, being able to have fun with the people you work with is extremely important.
Sure.
Again, with my specific job, I get to go out into community and interact with people on a regular basis, and that's kind of my zone. That's where I'm the most happy and what I like doing the most. So it's great being able to live in the community that I work in, see the same faces when I'm at work and when I'm not off of work, and enjoy my coworkers.
Yeah. For sure.
So,
Dante?
for me, I have to agree with Officer Cohen here. I mean, being part of a strong team, you know, for one, the years fly by. You know, when you get along with all your coworkers, you can laugh, kick it, have fun, and just enjoy the day of work. Makes the time fly by, right?
Yeah.
Watching the city grow, being a part of that process, you know, seeing the infrastructure, the roads being paved, the new buildings, this great communication equipment that you guys have out here for us, man. I just like to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's a great place. I mean, it's you know, there's definitely a feeling of camaraderie that, I mean, it spreads through the entire city for sure. I know I feel it everywhere I go, and from day one, people are welcoming and, you know, helpful and friendly, and
Absolutely.
It's motivating for sure.
It is.
Talk to us a little bit about training. This is again for everybody. So, you know, clearly you all have very specialized positions and very important work that you do. So, what do you do, you know, one, to prepare for it, to become a firefighter, EMT, paramedic, driver, and then what kind of training upkeep do you have to do for that?
Right. So generally start out in the fire academy or EMT school, either out of high school or after college. And then once you get hired on with the department, it never ends. I mean, that's the very basic start of your career. You learn so much more here, and honestly, we train every single day we're at work. There's set training days, but we're training every single day. We're always learning, always striving to be better.
And there's a position that focuses specifically on developing training for the Pearland Fire Department, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. We have a training division within the fire
A
department.
whole division, yeah.
That sets up specific training, big targets that we want to hit.
And you have your training burn building, and
Absolutely,
and you're getting a new one pretty soon.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's
Big
some
improvements
building.
coming to the training facility for the fire
That's
department.
fantastic.
So we're looking forward to that for sure.
Ryan, what about you guys? What's training like for police officers?
It's actually a lot like what he just said. We also have a division specialized or specific to training. There's 2 officers there. We actually just added another officer who's in the process of trying to get an academy started up so we can then have our own police academy. Currently, we send our cadets to other academies. As far as TCOL licensing goes,
What's TCOL?
TCOL, the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement.
Okay.
They require 40 hours every 2 years, and our PD does roughly 4 times that as our minimum. And last year alone, I believe we hit just over 18,000 total hours of training offered between our own officers and outside agencies coming in. So we take training.
And what is that training in? I mean, it's de-escalation and...
It's pretty much everything. We're constantly growing. We're constantly looking at what training we need. We're revamping our training that we've already had.
Sure.
So it's a never-ending cycle. But de-escalation is obviously a huge one right now, which is something that I can say that a lot of agencies are being called to begin teaching that. And this is something that we've been doing for quite a while now. So we're ahead of the curve as far as that goes. Our administration is real big on making sure that you know, we're number one when it comes to training and the training that we offer. So
that's fantastic. And Dante, I know y'all have, like, you have certifications for everything, right?
For the most part. I mean, I'll start off by saying our training is pretty intense. You know, each day we get the staff together, we do laps, we do push-ups around the facility, you know, a couple pull-ups here and there, but
all physically fit before you
fit before we get to work. But all jokes aside, I mean, I'm water and wastewater certified. I've obtained those licenses here with the city. Strategic supervisor training that we receive. I've obtained my CDL from working for the City of Pearland, learned to operate all types of heavy equipment that we use on a daily basis. Budget training, any training that you can think of related to making sure that we manage funds and manage the city in the right way.
That's and that's something I've seen, you know, citywide specifically, or generally speaking. But you know, training is a key part of maintaining that sharp edge and keeping people innovative and focused and thinking and looking forward. And it's definitely, you know, people here have an appetite for it for sure.
Absolutely.
So that's good to see. Let's talk specifically, get into a couple of specific department questions. The fire suit specifically, how hot does it get in there? Is there like a self-contained air conditioner or something? Or
Absolutely not. Well, I wish.
Really?
That would make
So
it
it's
so
just
much better.
hot?
No, it's just hot. I couldn't tell you a certain temperature, but it's hot and it's exhausting. So
How do you recuperate from that? You just drink a lot of Gatorade, or
Drink a lot. We stay hydrated throughout the day. Constantly drinking fluids, especially if we're out training or during the summer. But essentially, we work for about 20 to 30 minutes, and that's about all we can handle before we have to trade out with other guys. So as soon as we come out, we're taking that stuff off, trying to cool off.
Wow.
Yep.
And now I've heard that recently there's been some research around all the carcinogens that are in the suits and things like that, and research that they're doing on firefighters. So talk to us a little bit about the new setup on the new fire stations that they're implementing, keeping stuff separate.
Yeah, so cancer is a big push right now in the fire department or the fire service throughout the world, really. And so the city's doing a lot of good things and making big strides to keep us safe from that. And it started with Station 1 when they essentially introduced like a separate area to decon with as soon as we're done with the fire. Decontaminate, yeah, exactly. So so we do that as soon as possible, try to get all of the carcinogens and cancer causing chemicals off of our skin as soon as possible, and then we'll go back to what we were doing after that. And then Station 8, which is the new station that opened I believe about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks, there's actually saunas in there which help release all that stuff out of your skin.
Oh, so like exfoliates it or
Exactly. So big strides. We're seeing stuff that we've never seen in the fire station before.
Wow,
so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wish I had a sauna.
Yeah, there you
go. So question for PD. So this is from one of our residents. So it says teenage drivers with provisional licenses are not supposed to have more than one passenger other than a sibling in their vehicle. If the driver has more than one friend, do you issue a citation? If the passengers are licensed drivers as well, do they receive any sort of citation knowingly riding along, or just the driver?
Okay, it's a good question. So first off, just for anybody who doesn't know, provisional driver's license is what's issued to a driver who is under 18, but has completed their learner's permit qualifications and all things associated with that. So there are certain stipulations with that. They can't drive between midnight and 5 a.m. One of them, obviously, as this person had just asked, is that they cannot have a person who is under 21, or more than one person who is under 21, who is not an immediate family member. It doesn't stipulate a sibling, but any immediate family member in the vehicle at any given time. So long answer to that is yes, the driver can be cited for violating any of those specific restrictions, but the passengers, no, they will not be cited.
Got it. Okay, cool. Question for Public Works about chemicals in the water, right? So this is one thing, what's in the water, do we treat it, how do we treat it, different things like that. So if you could talk to us a little bit just like where we get our water and what do we do to it and how do we get clean water to people's houses. That's one that comes up a lot.
Okay, so we receive our water from the City of Houston, our aquifers in the ground, as well as the Gulf Coast Water Authority.
So 3 different main sources?
Yes, sir. So we weren't affected with the boil water notice that was issued out for Lake Jackson.
Because that was a separate system. I mean, not that that couldn't happen here theoretically, but in that situation, we're isolated from it, correct?
Exactly, that's correct. That's correct. So the chemicals used in the water is sodium hypochlorite and liquid pneumonia.
There's going to be a quiz on that later, so stay tuned.
So we have guys that go out and distribution system and flush hydrants on a monthly basis. So
what's the purpose of that?
Just to make sure that the lines are flushed, that are clean, we get no odors.
So it keeps water circulating?
Yes,
basically?
sir, exactly. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is have water stagnant in the line. So we make sure that the water is flowing frequently throughout the city.
So are residents paying for the water that goes to those hydrants, or?
No, sir. So
because it's before the.
It's before the meter.
The meter. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So they're only in charge for what's going through the meter.
Exactly. So that water is basically like a pre-measured preventative maintenance thing that the distribution system has. Water production team does, and make sure that no residents are affected during that process.
Okay. Got it. Cool. Question for PD and fire. Y'all might have dogs, I don't know. But I know y'all get this on National Night Out. Can I pet your canine?
So, go first.
Quick answer to that would be no, unless the handler advises you that you can do so.
Why is that?
So our dogs are obviously highly trained.
Sure.
And generally when they're out, they're doing some sort of work. They need to maintain that focus, and they need to make sure that their sole attention is on that handler.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can imagine that they're in tune with their handler specifically, but they're very high functioning dogs. So
Yes,
I can
sir.
imagine that would disrupt them a little bit. What about in fire?
Yeah, and I kind of tag on along with that. It's kind of the same thing. If they're there for a purpose, they're a working dog, and they're extremely focused on what they're tasked to do.
And
So
what are fire dogs tasked to do typically?
So they're there to basically detect if the fire was started with any accelerant.
Okay.
And I don't handle the dog specifically,
sure.
so I probably couldn't tell you everything. But
That's all right.
essentially, that's what they're there for. And
Got it.
I would say if the handler is out doing a public relations event or anything like that, and they tell you then yeah, go for it. They're usually pretty gentle on our side.
On the PD side, I mean, are they narcotics, drug dogs?
So
or
we have 5 dogs, 4 of which are dual purpose.
Okay.
One is specific to bomb detection.
Oh,
The dual purpose are patrol dogs. So what most people would think of when they, the bite dogs are dogs that are trained to bite when needed, but they're also trained in narcotics detection as well as tracking.
okay, got it. And so tracking, like
Tracking
missing person.
Yeah,
or
where
anything like that, yeah.
somebody runs away and they they hop a fence, and you need to get a dog out there to try to get to their location in a safe manner. Call the dogs out missing people, like you just said, is a great
Yeah.
example.
Okay. We are almost out of time here, so I want to make sure I want to give you an opportunity to say anything else we want to, and then we'll wrap everything up. So talk to us a little bit. What do you want people to know about the Pearland Fire Department?
The main thing is we're always here for you. You call, we will be there.
Okay.
And we appreciate the support the citizens and the city staff give us all the time. So,
Got it.
Same sentiment. I love this city. I know the PD loves us. We love y'all. If you need anything at all from us, be it a speaker, somebody to come to your school, somebody to come to anything you have going on, feel free to reach out to the police department. Ask for community outreach. I'll probably be one of those 3 people answering that phone, and we want to get out there and intermingle with y'all. So give us a call.
Dante?
So I'd say for public works, if anyone has any problems out in the city, water leak, backed up sewer, any issues with drainage or trees, low-hanging trees, just give us a call at 281-652-1900. We're on call 24/7, 365 days of the year, and also you can reach out to us through our Pearland Connect 2 app, and we'll receive all service calls that way also.
All right, I do have one last question, Ryan. This is specifically for y'all.
Of course.
I've been dying to ask. Do all cops like donuts, or is it?
I can't speak for all of them, but I specifically do enjoy a good donut here and there.
Well, I'm glad
As
to
you
know
can
that.
probably tell.
I'm just saying, it's one of those things. No, we kid. But that's all the show we had for today. That's National Night Out 2020. So we want to thank you all for joining us. We want to thank these people. If you see them out in the community, and you most likely will, thank all of them for their hard work, because they literally come to work every single day and night, to keep you safe, to keep water coming to your homes, to keep everybody happy and moving on. So be sure to stop and say hi to them and appreciate them for their hard work, because what they do is genuinely a calling. So we hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be looking forward to hopefully getting back to normal and doing this in regular format next year. But if not, then you'll see us right back here with more fun toys and more conversation. So thank you all. We hope you have a good night.
thank you.